away from desire, anger, attachment. Stay away from hatred and lust. Avoid bad company. Avoid meat. These tips for pregnant women don't come from midwives or gynecologists. This is the advice given by the Ministry of Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy, better known as the Aayush Ministry.
The sermons coming out from the Aayush Ministry has caught the ire of the opposition parties and social activists who have condemned the booklet that has been released and has also termed it as regressive. The ministry, on the other hand, has defended itself by saying that what the booklet says is nothing new and that they have been taken out of context.
These bizarre tips from the Aayush Ministry has sparked a massive controversy, with the activists questioning the logic or the lack of it.
Ayush department issuing guidelines for pregnant women not to eat meat just goes to show that there's nothing so scientific about the guidelines that these people have given to women who are pregnant, because we know via research and we also know through practice that meat and proteins of meat is easily digestible than other vegetable proteins. So what is the substitute if they say that you should not eat meat? Because you're looking forward to a healthy baby, a healthy child that has to be born, and the mother to be also healthy through the term.
There are doctors who have come out and said that it has high protein content which is required by the pregnant women. Also spiritual thoughts and all, what scientific basis? It may keep you happy as they say, but to say that if you have thoughts which are lustful, they are harmful, I think even the making of Aayush Ministry, which is based on naturopathy and all, that itself is debatable.
In fact, most of the things mentioned there are to be practiced by every human all through the life. Okay, abstaining from anger, keeping good company and all this. But the particular point of eating meat, in fact, meat is prescribed by every doctor.
Netas also jumping into the fray, accusing the government of overstepping.
Who is promoting obscurantism? The government of India, the government's health ministry. The National Family Health Survey shows high rates of malnutrition and anemia among pregnant women in India. And instead of discussing what is the best nourishment we can provide, they bring out this absolutely absurd, obscurantist nonsense. And it is public money which is being used to promote this. And therefore I believe there should definitely be some action taken against those who are promoting this nonsense, because it is damaging. It is propagating completely unscientific drivel.
मुझे लगता है कि ऐसी किताब को फ़ौरन बैन करना चाहिए। एक सरकारी महकमा इस तरह की किताब पब्लिश करता है जिसमें ये लिखा हुआ है कि आप ये खाएं और ये ना खाएं, आप ये करें और ये ना करें, एक प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन ये करे और ये ना करे। आज ये चीज़ कहीं भी साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन नहीं है कि प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन को ये करना चाहिए, ये नहीं करना चाहिए।
I would definitely now request rightfully to the Prime Minister to take action against whosoever saw the release of this book, because this is the extreme of gender inequality.
After the gaffe, the government attempted a feeble face saver.
I don't think there is any confusion. Nowhere we have written that you have to strictly avoid non-vegetarian food or something of that sort. Of course, as a practice, yoga and naturopathy doesn't promote or advocate or prescribe non-vegetarian food to the patients or the even pregnant women or any other people. Accordingly, we have written in one place that we have to avoid taking non-vegetarian food during the pregnancy. That's all.
But this isn't the first time the Aayush Ministry has courted controversy. Earlier this year, third-year textbooks from the Bachelor of Ayurveda Medicine and Surgery course listed out ways to ensure the birth of a boy. And now the ministry once again finds itself in the eye of a storm over its unwarranted gyan. Mirror Now report.
You're watching the Urban Debates. Good evening, I'm Faye D'Souza. This is the question we're asking: is the government overstepping when it tells pregnant women? And you know, we could turn around and say that this is just an advisory. These are the arguments you'll hear on the show. This is just an advisory. It's not serious, but it's coming out of the government. This is a government ministry booklet. Shouldn't the government be more careful about what it puts out? Is the government overstepping right now when it tells pregnant women to avoid non-vegetarian food? It tells pregnant women to avoid lust, avoid bad company, keep beautiful pictures of people around you in your bedroom in order to give a good effect to the child. Shouldn't there be some sort of scientific basis to what the government puts out in its booklets? Who is doing this research? And if this has actually been a researched booklet, who's paying for this research? Unfortunately, viewers, it's our tax money. The question we're asking this evening is the government overstepping? And the series of these problems that we've seen, Rajasthan's textbooks, among other things, where we've seen a lot of unscientific things surface in government documentation. Gopal Agarwal, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins me on this show. So does Priyanka Chaturvedi, national spokesperson of the Congress. Representing the medical community, Neha Agarwal, senior gynaecologist. We also have Naveen Chomal, senior advocate. Shriraj Nair is the spokesperson of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Mandar Ranade is also a gynaecologist. Nikita Anand is a former Miss India and an actor who brings in a regular person's point of view. I welcome all of you to this conversation. I want to start with Neha Agarwal, senior gynaecologist. Neha, Dr. Agarwal, thank you for joining us. Avoid garam masala, fried oily items, eggs and non-vegetarian food. India, on latest count, 50% of the pregnant women in India are anemic. Can we tell our entire country to avoid eating eggs and non-vegetarian food when pregnant?
Yeah, I would say that it is just terrible, because in the era of evidence-based medicine, such advisories being given by the ministry booklet, they sound very primitive. Like the protein is such an important thing needed for a pregnant woman. It is a need for the development of the baby. And we generally suggest, rather than asking women to refrain from eggs and meat, we rather suggest them to take these diet supplements, you know, because protein is very much needed for the nutrition's sake. And as far as other aspect of it is concerned, like desire, etc., in that case also I would like to say that as far as evidence-based medicine is concerned, we don't generally ask our patients to refrain or to go for an abstinence. It is just in the case of placenta previa, you know, when the placenta, it's an organ which supplies blood to the fetus, it's very much low down the uterus. Only in those cases, we generally ask women to refrain from the intercourse. Otherwise, there is no, as such, any evidence to ask women to stay away from any intercourse, etc.
Dr. Ranade is also a gynecologist and a medical legal expert. What is your opinion right now, doctor, of what we're hearing from this mother and child care through yoga and naturopathy Center of Council research put out by the government of India that asks women to avoid lust during pregnancy? This just sounds like, you know, forcing moral ideas down somebody's throat. This has absolutely no scientific evidence. Do you believe that this is proven in any way that to be based in any science?
At the outset, I would like to say that Ayurveda is a science 5,000 years before. So all the text materials are there since 5,000 years. They are there in the manuscripts, they are there in the text everywhere. So now what Aayush Ministry has done, they have just quoted the points from those texts for the circulation of the citizens of India. Now I am here to tell what Ayurveda says actually. There is no ban on non-vegetarian diet in Ayurveda. It's a misconcept. Ayurveda says that in the 4th month there is a formation of mausa, there is formation of rakta. Therefore, you should eat non-vegetarian diet with navaneet and all. There is a mention of eating non-vegetarian diet throughout the pregnancy. But in the some parts of Charak Samhita, they have said about the properties of mouse. That is, if you eat that in larger quantity, big quantity, then there can be some bad effects on the fetus. About all those
hang on, Dr. Ranade, so tell me something. Yeah. If this is this, and I'm reading out of this book right now, it doesn't say in large quantities. Yeah. It says avoid. in bold block letters. Avoid tea, coffee, sugar, candy, white flour products, garam masala, fried, oily items, eggs and non-veg. So in your opinion then, given what you just said, this is not even an accurate quote of Ayurveda.
I'm not on notification, because the earlier person, CCRS person, CCRYN person said that they are from the yoga side, and yoga naturally avoids non-vegetarian things, therefore they have put that. But as far as Ayurveda is concerned, Ayurveda doesn't quote about abstinence from non-vegetarian diet, never. In the routine patients also we prescribe. In the pregnant women also there is a mention of eating non-vegetarian things. There are mention of different yavagus, different kshirakalpa, different things made out of non-vegetarian diet. But in Charak Samhita there is a reference that if you eat it in big quantity, the Ati Sevan, that is they call it as.
Dr. Ranade, and I want to go back. I want to go back to what I want to go back to what Dr. Neha Agarwal said to us. And this is my problem with all of this. Ayush stands for Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Homeopathy. Let's just stick with science. Now, within Ayurveda and within Yoga, there's a disagreement of whether or not non-veg should be eaten, whether or not whether or not eggs can be consumed. Let's be honest about the fact that we have horribly malnourished children in our country. We have anemic mothers in our country. We do not have enough food to feed everybody. We do not have the luxury of telling people to avoid things when they can barely feed themselves. Do you believe, Dr. Neha Agarwal, that women in our country, pregnant women in our country, are getting the necessary calories that they need? Do they have the luxury to stop eating certain foods?
No, I definitely feel that in India, malnourishment is a big problem. Almost the incidence of anemia is 50% in our population. And we need to give them good dietary supplements, you know. If we ask them stopping eating nutrients like egg is such a rich source of protein, and meat too, then how can we expect pregnant mothers to produce healthy babies? It's just like, you know, rather a crime. Being a doctor, I believe in researches, I believe in science, I believe in evidence-based medicine. So I would definitely say that I will like to condemn such advisories by ministry or whatsoever by the government of India. And I'm really shocked to see that such things are being advised to the women of India, in which malnourishment is a major problem.
Right, I want to bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi and Gopal Agarwal. Priyanka Chaturvedi, we've had several problems with Ayush as well. They have been, they've run into problems with, you know, there was an Ayurveda textbook, for example, in the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences that was released earlier this year that actually specified how to conceive and give birth to a boy. That textbook had to be pulled back as well. Priyanka Chaturvedi, the Aayush Ministry has constantly been running into trouble. What is the problem with the Aayush Ministry, in your opinion?
So my opinion is very clear about the Aayush Ministry. Here is something that we need to understand. We do not have a problem with Ayurveda. It's a part of our rich cultural heritage, which is something that we wish to promote, we need to promote. Same with yoga. Yoga has many benefits for pregnant women. But pushing yoga as an excuse to thrust an ideology, the ideology being that eating meat is bad, eating anything which is not vegetarian is a bad idea, and it's going to produce children which are, you know, not the sanskari children. If you would remember, a couple of months ago, yes, RSS promoted Garbs, there was a name to it, yes, which promoted the idea of producing children who were sanskari children, who were fair children, who were Hindu children. So this idea that we are pushing forward, using the, you know, I would say the smoke screen of Ayurveda and yoga prescribing it, I think is doing gross injustice to the science of yoga, to the science of Ayurveda. So having said that, I must give you my own personal example, just beyond being a Congress spokesperson. I also went through the entire phase of pregnancy, where being a vegetarian, I was told that I was anemic and I should consider eating eggs. That was a choice which was given to me by my doctor, and the doctor, you know, continued telling me that throughout my pregnancy. I refused to do that. But that's a choice we as educated people make. But what happens when the government sends out an advisory like this, and people who are perhaps a large population of this country which does not have access to education believes that the government has done its research, it's a fact-based information, it's a fact-based advisory, and that is why they need to follow what they need to follow. That is when the problem arises. When you make your grandmother tales and your pregnancy tales or the things that you've heard over the generations as fact-based information, that is when the problem arises. And I think that is what we need to counter here. It is not about yoga or Ayurveda. It is about government endorsing all these granny tales, the myth that we have heard over the years.
Gopal Krishna Agarwal, respond to that. And the truth is that the Ayush Ministry has run into trouble, Mr. Agarwal, several times in the past. We also have, and I will read out to you, things from Rajasthan's textbooks that are very amusing. Let's focus on this particular, guidebook that has been put out for mother and child care. Who did the research on this, and how can the government of India be supporting something so unscientific?
Actually, I want to tell that there are, this is a different stream. We have medical doctors, they are telling about something. There is another medical stream of homeopathy. They will sometimes give a counter advice. Then there is Ayurveda. What the Ayush Ministry is doing and what has been written is, as the officials and ministry have clarified, this is from some portions which was published 3 years back. One point. Second thing is, the ministry themselves or minister is said that we are not advising anybody to be vegetarian or abstain from non-vegetarianism. It is only, or other thing is, what they are mentioning is what has been mentioned in the naturopathy. If you believe in naturopathy, it is your choice. If I go for homeopathy, I have to go for a homeopathic doctor and go for his advice. Then I cannot say that medical doctor, allopathic doctor has said what the government has said, what has been written in the naturopathy.
Now, okay, I'm reading out of, let me tell you, first of all, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, 44% of the children in India are underweight. 44% of the children in India are underweight. On birth, 72% of the children in India are underweight.
I am neither. Okay. No, let me finish. I am neither an expert on allopathy, I am neither an expert on naturopathy, nor the minister is an expert on naturopathy or yoga. As your panelists are saying that there are things, this was 5,000 back old science or books, whatever a stream of knowledge is, that they are bringing out. Those who don't want to follow that naturopathy or yoga, they are free to. Whose government is saying that only believe in naturopathy? If you take out of context every religious or scripture book in the country, you will say there is this.
Okay, I think you've said something very interesting, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. Every religious scripture in this country, we are not discussing religious scriptures, we are discussing a government document. This is a government document. We are not discussing religious scriptures. Let me point out to you that this was released by the ministry in the run-up to Yoga Day coming up in the next week or so. And nowhere in this document does it say this is a personal choice. Please consult your doctor before you follow this document.
Do you want that the government should edit it?
Yes, please.
Let me tell you.
The least, in the very least, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, it should be edited to say, please consult your doctor before you follow this.
Edit it.
Shouldn't it say, please consult your doctor before you follow this? If there is a woman who does have anemia, shouldn't she consult her doctor first before she follows this booklet coming out of the government of India?
Even Gandhiji told about these things. So Gandhiji told about so many things. You will say it is
Here's the thing. There's a huge. Can I say something here, Faye? Can I say something here, Faye?
That was a mindset.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, go ahead.
Gandhiji has talked so much about chastity. Then what you will say?
Gandhiji was not the government of India releasing health advisories, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal.
This was Mahatma Gandhi's. This was Mahatma Gandhi's
an advisory for those people who want to follow naturopathy.
To differentiate between opinions and facts and research. Please allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. I give you my own example here. You need to understand. I live in an urban city like Mumbai. I have an access to understand what is feasible, what is not feasible. Please, Mr. Agarwal, allow me to complete. You have brought in Mahatma Gandhi here because it's easiest for you all.
Let me finish.
It's easiest for you all to use smoke screens to push your agenda. Please,
let me finish.
Just hang on. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Gopal Agarwal. It doesn't matter if you're a vegetarian, Gopal Agarwal. I think what is very, very clear is that the government has overstepped its bounds here. If the government felt, as you're saying, follow if you want to, don't follow if you don't want to, it must say so in the document. It must say consult your physician before you adopt any of these things. It must say this is just an advisory. It doesn't say so anywhere. The government is either not taking its job seriously and not realizing that when the government of India puts out a document, the entire country treats it with a certain level of seriousness. If you don't want people to take your document seriously, please say so in bold letters on the front of the document. Please don't take this seriously. We put it out without doing too much research. Lakshmi Gopal is on the phone line right now. Lakshmi Gopal, go ahead. Lakshmi Gopal, 1 second, sir. Lakshmi Gopal, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Lakshmi, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to ask, why hasn't the ministry brought out a parallel booklet for would-be fathers?
Why hasn't the ministry brought out a parallel booklet for would-be fathers? Because perhaps they don't know, they haven't researched what would-be fathers should be doing. Let me bring in the rest of the panelists right now. Nikita Anand, former Miss India, who joins us. Nikita,
you have to take it in the context. Let me finish.
Okay, finish. Gopal Agarwal, finish, then I'll respond to you.
The question is, this booklet or document is for those...
Please allow me to complete also then. You know, we are giving him way too much time.
Naturopathy. And yes, no, let me finish.
Mr. Agarwal, finish, please go ahead. I can hear you. Mr. Agarwal, please finish.
For them, I think this is correct.
Okay, this is for people who follow naturopathy.
This booklet is for those who want to follow naturopathy or yoga.
No, please.
And for them, I think you should not edit those things which are for them to follow.
Okay,
if
all right.
you don't want to follow naturopathy, go for allopathy. Go for other things. Who is saying that you have to follow only naturopathy?
Okay, all right. Now, let me just point out to you that according to Dr. Ranade, who's on the panel right now, Ayurveda does not specify anywhere that you should give up non-vegetarian food. He says perhaps yoga does. Definitely. Yoga does in some places. Nowhere, let me point out as a rebuttal to what you just said, Gopal Agarwal, nowhere in this entire booklet does it say only follow if you want to follow. This is only naturopathy. If you want to follow allopathy, you should go ahead and follow allopathy. It doesn't say so anywhere. It also does not say consult your physician or your doctor. Now, you're not letting me talk. You're not letting me talk. You're not letting me talk. It never, nowhere does it say consult your doctor or your physician before you follow any of this advice. Nowhere does it say, please find out if you are anemic before you follow any of this advice. Nowhere does it say, please find out if there is a possibility that your child will be underweight on birth, which it should say in this document, given the fact, and I am purely giving you statistics, 50% of the women in our country are anemic when they're pregnant. Of the children who are under the age of 5, 44% are malnourished or underweight. 52% of the married women have anemia. These are the documents. This, at least the government of India should know. This they should include in their documentation. Let me bring in the rest of the panelists right now. Nikita Anand. Nikita Anand, what is your reaction to this booklet?
Faye, first, most importantly, I'd like to tell you that I am a practitioner of yoga. I am a student of Yogi Ashwini of the Dhyan Ashram. Now, there is something that obviously no one has considered, and I'm talking about the panelists here. We have doctors, we have someone from the ministry as well, but meat in this country is pure poison. Meat is full of plastics. So the phthalates leach into the meat, which then causes a series of nervine disorders. You have animals who feed, you have cows who feed on garbage and dustbin. I just have a couple of photographs to show as well. And again, it is this plastic which leaches into the meat. Oxytocin is fed to so many cows, and this causes It wreaks havoc as far as hormones are concerned in a woman, and it also leads to things like cancers and PCOD. Now, let's even talk about hospital waste. You have animals who feed from this garbage.
Right.
And again,
Nikita Anand, are the vegetables in this country completely free of any sort of poison or pollutant?
The point here is about meat, which is why
the point here, Nikita Anand, is about making responsible scientific statements. Are the vegetables in our country completely free of any sort of poison?
When we are talking about science and we're talking about health, and I know you read out a whole list of...
is the milk in our country completely free of any sort of poison, Nikita Anand? Shall we give up milk as well? And butter, and ghee, and cheese, and dahi?
If you're eating, then essentially you're consuming plastics.
And so then technically that holds for milk, right? Should we tell pregnant women to give up milk and dahi and ghee?
Mention one thing.
Pregnant women. I'm not saying that. This is the ground reality. This is what is happening.
Besides the point. I'm asking you if there is enough scientific research according to you that meat is poison, shall we also then give up milk and ghee and other forms of dairy? And whose job is it to make sure that the people in our country are not consuming poison? Are the vegetables free of poison? Do we have pesticides in our fruits and vegetables?
We need to be aware of things. Yes, there is organic farming which should be cultivated.
Is there enough organic farming to feed our entire... we should for a second step out of our glass houses in our urban centres and realise how the rest of the country is living.
Can I please say something?
Yes, Priyanka Chaturvedi, please go ahead.
Absolutely. So, Faye, I just like to tell Nikita something. It's very interesting that she speaks about vegetarianism, where she promotes vegetarianism, where she speaks about organic farming. Has she bought a kg of tur dal or anything vegetarian, any of these pulses, in organic versus the regular stuff that is available in the markets? She would understand how people in the rural areas have to survive over whatever is available to them, considering the amount of money that they have. So when we talk about all this organic farming and all that, it sounds very interesting. Vegetarianism sounds interesting.
Okay,
I'm a vegetarian too.
Priyanka, I understand what you're saying. I'm just going to bring this panel back to what we're talking about. We're not discussing veganism here. We're not discussing the quality of the meat in our country, although that might be a very valid conversation to have for an entire hour on this panel. That's not the conversation.
It's about trying to understand that a large population of women who give birth are living in rural areas. For them, the only way to get protein is through non-vegetarian food, through meat. So this is ridiculous. When a Government of India advisory comes across, these are the women who actually look at the advisory and think that is the best way to go about it. And they don't have
so I just want to refocus our panel. I want to refocus our panel. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Nikita Anand, I want to refocus our panel on the fact, and I'm coming back to this.
How many people, I have a question to the panelists.
One second.
How many people in India are following naturopathy? How many people in India are following naturopathy? Then you talk out of that naturopathy people, how many are following this?
Okay, all right. Now, Gopal Agarwal, listen to my question. How many people in India study the 10th standard? How many people in India study 10th standard? Do you know that there is currently a physical education textbook in Rajasthan that says...
Who is telling them to follow naturopathy?
Eating meat causes a lot of harm to the body. Chant mantra before meals while eating and think of food as God's prasad.
This is a 10th standard textbook
in Rajasthan. This has nothing to do with naturopathy. This is a 10th standard textbook in Rajasthan. Now tell me, Gopal Agarwal, why do we have 10th standard textbooks in Rajasthan that are telling people that meat is bad for them? Is there any sort of research in saying that meat is bad? And if, let's take Nikita Anand's submission here that meat is poison, I will also submit to you that milk is poison and vegetables are poison in this country because nobody is looking at the quality. Shriraj Nair, spokesperson of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad.
No, I want to ask you one thing.
You seem to be asking more questions than you're answering.
No, I want to ask one thing. If a government... if the government is publishing any book on Jain philosophy, it will talk of ahimsa and everything. You will say that it should edit it and change it.
Yes.
It is only a book on naturopathy and yoga.
Goes beyond religion. It goes beyond your caste equations.
What naturopathy
Please
says,
stop living in the world that you'll have created, the happiness that you'll
Naveen
get
Chomal.
in creating caste and religious divide across this nation.
Naveen Chomal.
I am sorry, sir. Pregnancy is common across
Priyanka
every caste and
Priyanka ji.
So when you talk about pregnancy, you're going
Priyanka
beyond
ji,
the
please
caste
for a
and religious
moment
equations in this
drop
country.
your political
So please
agenda
stop
against the
bracketing
government
women
and
on the
let us
basis of
talk
your
about
caste
the
and religious
scientific
equations
aspect
for your
of what
political gain.
the government has published.
Okay.
Please appreciate. I would like to answer to one more panelist who's been repeating saying about the evidence-based medicine. Please appreciate. We can say with confidence that the ancient Indian science is far more advanced and mature than what recent Western science is. It is unfortunate that some qualified doctors in country, they just love being slaves of whatever the Western people guide them, and whatever is Indian science, they want to ridicule it and call it names. So coming to the main issue, what it is today, please appreciate. Yes, please appreciate.
Scientific evidence you have, right? Okay, give it to me. No, you have scientific evidence.
I am surprised that certain panelists, you give them time to speak because they are speaking your voice. And when I am trying to say something, you are purposely trying to interrupt and all this thing. What is this? Means if your aim is
scientific
only
evidence.
I'll keep quiet. Yes,
scientific evidence.
See, first of all, it is very scientific that whenever the vegetarian food is there, it is very easy for the body to absorb. No doubt the non-vegetarian food has its advantages. There is no doubt about it. I am myself a non-veg eater and I love non-veg food. But having said so, the vegetarian science has its own very much scientific value. And for a pregnant woman, if there are any doctors don't say just eat non-veg. There is a palak, spinach that is advised. So all the gynecologists on the panel, why are they avoiding this issue? That spinach gives lot of iron to the body. So even if Priyanka Chaturvedi may have said it for the sake of argument, but if she is a vegetarian, doctor could have advised her to have spinach. But it is not compulsory for her to eat eggs only. So only for the sake of argument you are saying all this wrong on the bluff on the channels.
I have access
so please
to
appreciate
information. I have access to buy this kind of food. What about those women who are living in rural areas who go by what government of India is suggesting?
Palak is more easily available. And are you not aware how the eggs are hatched in your country, how the eggs are prepared, how the broiler chickens are prepared, giving all injections to the chicken. They are all full of medicines and drugs. So ultimately, as what Nikita has very rightly said, the non-veg in our country is far more full of drugs.
Naveen Chomal, as always, you come in with rhetoric and very little scientific proof.
Come on, why?
Now, can you tell me, one second, now listen to me, no, I listen to you, now listen to me.
I am not completing my
Listen to me, no, you have enough, you've had enough time.
That's where your agenda is. Your basic agenda is only criticize the government. Is this your agenda? Go ahead then. So why are you calling us on the panel? If you just want to have...
It is a mistake I will not repeat. It is a mistake I will not repeat. It is a mistake I will not repeat.
Ultimately, now since I have come, let me point out that your channel just wants to have an agenda against the government. So collect 10 people and just say in chorus. Why are you having a debate? Why are you having a discussion? If you are having a discussion, give a fair chance to the people who are talking on this side also.
All right, we're going to take a very quick break here on this channel. Well, we're back right now with the Urban Debate on Mirror Now. We're talking about this booklet that the government has put out. This is an official ministry of the Union government that's put out a booklet advising pregnant women not to consume meat, to stay away from sex for their entire length of their pregnancy. This is not the first time an official ministry has quoted controversy. We've seen the Aayush Ministry get into trouble repeatedly. We've seen the Rajasthan government put out in its 10th standard textbook that meat is harmful for the body and people should avoid meat. The question that we're asking is, in a country that is 71% non-vegetarian, either there is a problem where the people in the government are not doing their research. If they are doing their research, they should be more responsible in what they're putting out. I want to go back right now to Dr. Neha Agarwal and Dr. Mandar Ranade, and I want to understand from the two of you if there is scientific research to tell us that eating meat is bad for our health. Dr. Agarwal.
No, there is no such any scientific research as far as I know. And here I would like to say that our government of India is taking women's health very lightly. You know, if we consider, then anemia and malnutrition are the root cause of major obstetric complications. Obstetric means that at the time of pregnancy as well as during the pregnancy, women may face many complications, and malnutrition and anemia is the root cause. At the time of delivery, women may bleed, you know, and like the most important cause of PPH, that is postpartum hemorrhage, is anemia and malnutrition. So here, if we stop taking pregnant women from taking a high protein diet, egg is a very rich source of protein, and also meat. So if we stop asking women to
Dr.
take such
Dr. Agarwal,
nutrients.
also respond to what Nikita Anand said, the fact that there are pollutants as far as meat is concerned, there are pollutants as far as eggs are concerned. Is that a concern for the medical community right now? Should that be a concern for the average citizen who's consuming meat and eggs?
No, it's nothing like that. As far as vegetables are concerned, there is a very high level of pesticides in vegetables also. So many things, many food items. So we cannot stop eating food. I mean, that is really funny. And as far as there is no research, there is no evidence saying that meat has the maximum levels of pesticides or something like that. It is just purely, it is just kind of an idea which has been really developed by the ministry or whatsoever.
All right, I want to bring in Shriraj Nair, after which we'll go back to the doctor. Shriraj Nair of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. What is your reaction to this booklet?
Well, I've been listening for a long time. Let me make it very clear as far as the VHP stand is concerned about about Ayurveda and Garbha Sanskar. Now, Ayurveda is a very age-old science, and by picking up bits and pieces from this portion of naturopathy, let us not try to ridicule Ayurveda. See, the way you are conducting the entire debate, you want to ridicule the Ayurveda which has been accepted the world over now. Understand one thing, the Garbha Sanskar is a scientific thing which is for ages. If you see the Mahabharata, Abhimanyu knew how to break the chakra when he was in the Garbha. At the same time, this is abstaining from non-vegetarian. This is a part of the naturopathy, as the spokesperson of BJP said. Maybe one can accept the naturopathy, one cannot accept. At the same, let us not try to ridicule Ayurveda, which is totally based on science, accepted the world over today. Even the most of the cardiologists, cancer patients, and the best of the MD, MS doctors, physicians today.
Okay, Mr. Shriraj Nair, let me point out to you. Let me point out to you and the rest of the panel. We are not ridiculing any. We are not ridiculing anything. We are just saying that when the government puts out a booklet, they have to make it very clear what the disclaimers are to this booklet. The thing that you are saying so intelligently on the panel right now, Mr. Nair, Mr. Nair.
Let us not try to ridicule.
Okay, Mr. Nair, now that you're listening to me, to Mr. Nair and Mr. Gopal Agarwal and everybody else who's listening, we are not ridiculing anything. We're just saying that officially from the government of India, when a booklet comes out, and you very rightfully said it follows naturopathy, it should say very clearly that this is for those people who want to follow naturopathy. Mr. Gopal Agarwal said so himself. There is, we found out from the doctors who are present, perhaps a risk for those women who are anemic, which we found out are 50% of the pregnant women in this country. Should that not be included? Saying, please go see if you are anemic first before you take this advice. Please go make sure that it is safe for you to follow this advice. Since it is medical advice, should it not say so in the book?
First of all, we are arguing. No, see, if you're talking about the advice, I definitely agree. There are women who are anemic, and they're in large numbers. But definitely, do they, like the panel, one of the panelists said, they have more access towards spinach or other vegetables which can provide protein to them. Nobody, from the Ayurveda point of view, nobody says against meat. This is a part of the portion which you have picked up from this naturopathy side. Let us not try to ridicule Ayurveda, which is taken. Ayurveda, yoga, and the ancient Indian medicine is now talked about the world over. Let us not try to ridicule ourselves.
All right, let's not.
This is what I want to say. Today,
I just want to keep pointing out that we are not ridiculing anything. We're taking the fact that when an official document comes out of the government of India,
pregnant ladies. So let us understand there is a science behind it. Let us have healthy babies, healthy mothers. Let us ensure that we have least of infant mortality.
How do we ensure we have the least infant mortality if we are telling women who are anemic and we are telling children who are underweight to avoid eggs and non-vegetarian food? Achyuta Rao is on the phone line from Hyderabad. Mr. Rao, go ahead, we can hear you.
You understand?
This is totally ridiculous. They giving these sort of advices to the women, even this will affect on the health of the children to be. And one gentleman debating in your discussion is quoting Mahabharata and Ayurveda and all these things. Nobody is ridiculing the Ayurveda or anything. But even when he is quoting Mahabharata, there is instances in the Mahabharata that they have eaten the cows when they are doing yajnas, yagas and other things. And the thing is, they saying, I am not going into that discussion. I am saying my discussion. Please listen to me. See,
please don't talk without knowledge. Please don't talk. You are on a national channel.
You can't say I am not having knowledge. I can give the quotation from the Mahabharata, Ramayana, where
definitely. How can you talk about cows?
Okay, let's not get derailed. Let's not get derailed.
See, there is a whole lot of research going on.
Let's not get derailed. David is on the phone line from Bangalore. David, go ahead. David, I can hear you. Priyanka Chaturvedi, I see your hand come up. I'm going to come to you immediately after this. David, go ahead.
There are photos of cute babies on the wall.
Yes, David, go ahead.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Let's not try to pick up
First
things.
of all, I congratulate Mirror Now. And the bold journalists like you, I appreciate and congratulate you, madam.
Thank you.
And moreover, sanskari tips for women. Hello?
Yes. Go ahead, David.
This government, any time there is a problem with this government. They are not focusing about the developments and the country what faces. There are always something or the other things coming on the news channel. They are lynching the woman in North Uttar Pradesh like that. And today there is a sanskari tip to women. Why they are bothered about women? When woman is suffering, they cannot do anything good for the woman. And for Yoga Day, they are giving a tip. All the natives of this country, first they have to do yogas regularly.
Right. I want to bring in Dr. Mandar Ranade. Dr. Mandar Ranade is a gynecologist. Dr. Ranade, I want to come back to you on this. Ayurveda, like pointed out by the other panelists, is an ancient practice in science in India. But you said that Ayurveda does not mandate that pregnant women give up non-vegetarian food. Please go over that one more time, Dr. Ranade.
Yes, one thing is important. Ayurveda has got different principles, and Ayurveda was a prevalent medical science at that particular time. One. Secondly, now we have got calories and proteins and other ways and means of research methodology, control test and everything. But during the era of Ayurveda, these things were lacking. So they were promoting based on their own principles. Now they have not condemned non-vegetarian anywhere. I can tell you a simple example. IUGR, intrauterine growth retardation, means the growth of the fetus in uterus is decreased. The weight is decreased, and therefore the fetus can get problems like fetus can die in utero. Otherwise, if it gets birth, then there can be low birth weight and there can be other problems about neonatal mortality also. Ayurveda has got excellent medicines like Garbhapalras, Madhumalini, Vasanta, which use eggs. In this particular formation, preparation. So never ever Ayurveda has given properties of different flesh, different mouse, like the mouse of the goat, like mouse of the other animals like that, or matsya, fish and all. So Ayurveda, prevalent science of that particular era, has used all those things which are good for the patient's life. That is, in this construct, for the mother's life, or the mother and the baby's life.
Mr.
Therefore,
Shriraj
the message is Ayurveda never condemns non-vegetarian.
Right. Mr. Nair, ab jawab de dijiye. Mr. Nair, Mr. Nair, go ahead.
Yeah, tell me.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, I'm saying. That nobody, see, you don't selectively pick up a point for debate just for condemning Ayurveda.
Nobody is condemning Ayurveda. We are saying that the people who printed this document did not do their research properly. We have an Ayurvedic doctor who is on the panel who is saying Ayurveda has never said you should give up these things.
You are talking about the booklet released by the Minister of Ayush.
Yes.
Listen, you are talking about the Ministry of Ayush booklet. Definitely, it is this particular point is a part from the naturopathy section. People who want to go for naturopathy, they should abide by it.
So
people who don't want to go for it, they don't. Nobody says there is in the Garbha Sanskar.
Shouldn't it say so on the book?
See, that is for the government to decide. You are talking from my point as far as VHP is concerned. We definitely believe in Garbha Sanskar. We definitely want the mothers to think right, eat right, think right, so that we have healthy babies, we have healthy mothers. There are least of infant mortality, or there should be no infant mortality. That is what we believe. We should have excellent citizens for this nation. And definitely Hindu Sanskar, or if you say Hindu, these are the Sanskars of this ancient land. When the West could not think of school or formal education, we had universities like Takshashila, Nalanda and other places. Why don't you talk about all these things? Don't pick up points just for being selectively attacking the Hindutva movement.
So, Mr. Nair, you have to decide, are you speaking as a proponent for Ayurveda, or are you speaking as a proponent for thrusting this kind of nonsense that's coming from the Ministry of Ayush, sir? Please, firstly, let me be very clear. I think right at the start of the discussion, perhaps you joined late, but we have been saying this. Considering, we know of many positives of Ayurveda. We know of many positives of yoga, which benefits women who are going through the process of pregnancy. What we have a problem with is Ayurveda and yoga are being used as a smokescreen to push an agenda that the government of India, the Bharatiya Janata Party especially, has been pushing across the nation, about whether it is with regards to vegetarianism, whether it is about how women should behave, how women should eat, where women should sit, where women should stand, and what women's role in the society should be. Please understand, they're using the Ayurveda and yoga argument to smoke screen an agenda that they want to push across the nation. This is what I'm talking about, and this is what we're discussing.
Or there is no diktat issued by anybody.
All right. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, I'm coming back to the same thing. I'm coming back to the same thing.
Pushing the agenda without any research, without any fact-based, fact-based research.
Calm down. Let me make this very clear. This is not about religion. This is not about the Hindu movement. This is simply about a document that the government has put out without putting proper advisories on this document. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, I circle back to the same thing. Shouldn't this document have included very clear instructions saying go check with your physician before you take any of this advice? Has the Ayush Ministry been irresponsible in not including that advice, Gopal Krishna Agarwal? One second, everyone calm down.
Are you speaking for Ayurveda? If you're speaking for Ayurveda, you should be speaking against the government.
Let me just ask them to just wait for the...
I'm sorry,
one second. Priyanka Chaturvedi, I'm taking your point. One second. The problem is that when we discuss these things, we can't discuss them calmly, and that's why we wind up with documents that are so badly researched, because we mix it up with emotion. This is about what a pregnant woman should and should not eat. There's nothing emotional about it. It is purely scientific. If we can't discuss this without getting completely riled up, then what is the point? Gopal Krishna Agarwal, go ahead.
In many of prescriptions you see not fit for pregnant ladies, or
what I want to tell you is,
even the allopathic
just wait,
prescription say.
Just listen.
No.
Please listen to other. What I want to tell you is, the minister and the ministry officials both have said that we are not talking of abstaining from sex. We are not proposing that. We are not proposing even non-vegetarianism. The issue is that they have talked of naturopathy And in the document, if what naturopathy and yoga, they are quoting from that. What Faye has said that they should be more cautious. Okay, it is a document that it has been said that it was published 3 years back. Now, if you and I want you to do one research is how many people in India follow naturopathy. Only those will be affected. Now, if I don't follow naturopathy, why I will follow what is the dictate on naturopathy?
So why don't you just say
if
it's
I
a
don't
Ministry
have
of
faith on naturopathy and yoga, who is telling me?
It has nothing to do with other aspects. Aspects that you all are pushing across. Is Ministry of Ayush only relegated to naturopathy? Doesn't it cover Ayurveda? Doesn't it cover yoga? Doesn't it cover other Indian medicinal research that we have and something we should be proud of, the cultural heritage we should be proud of? In case if it's naturopathy, then you should mention it. Your document should have mentioned it.
Well, the truth is that the document should have mentioned it. The document should have mentioned it. The document should have said.
We should rather guide them. We should make them aware. How can we ask people who are following naturopathy, those innocent people, how can we misguide them?
Well, you must understand to our panel, and let me just, before we wrap this up, give Nikita Anand this promise. I will give you, Nikita Anand, the promise that the point you brought up is very valid. The fact that we have pollution in this country in all types of food. I promise you that we will take it up on this channel and we will have an entire conversation and we will have an investigation into the quality of meat, eggs and vegetable that is provided in the country, because people ought to know these truths. But wrapping up this conversation, one thing is for sure. When the government puts out a booklet that says mother and child care, it must, from the responsibility of its official position as Government of India, also put out specific guidances saying that this is from naturopathy. If you choose to follow naturopathy, then follow our instructions. This is not Ayurveda. This is only naturopathy, because Ayurveda, as the expert on the panel pointed out, nowhere in Ayurveda does it say that a woman should give up non-vegetarian food or sex. It should also very clearly, very clearly, and this is a question of life and death, it should very clearly specify that you have to go and check whether or not you are anemic before you follow any of these instructions. Because if you are anemic and you choose to follow a purely vegetarian diet without being aware of your anemia, you will perhaps be in danger and your child will be in danger. There is no doubt about it. That sort of responsibility is very basic. We expect it from the government. We expect it from the Ministry of the Central Government. You are not a corner shop book house putting out advisories. You are the Government of India. Be more responsible about what you're putting out. This is not in any way questioning either Ayurveda or naturopathy. This is in every way questioning the booklet that has been put out, that is obviously not done enough research and has not included enough advisory for the people who might read it. We are a country of very low educated people who will take this advice very seriously. So we should be very careful about the advice that we put out, especially in official channels. Thanks for watching.